Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast. This is episode number 682. For those of you that are new to the channel or the project itself, it's 682 consecutive days without any break in between that this project is ongoing. For those of you that are completely new to the channel or come here occasionally and might have not get a chance to understand what was the reason or purpose of this channel, I should remind both myself and you as my readers and watchers, listeners, about what this project was about at the start and still is or isn't at the moment, because 682 days is not far from 2 years of existence, which is madness to think about. So just the name Blunt Force Healing was made up on the spot. And if you ever start or plan on starting blogging or podcasting and you think too much about what the name of the podcast should be or the blog, I think it's very easy to fall into that pit of overthinking how should I call it, because we think that we can't change it later or it will be difficult. In essence, you don't need to think about the name as much as about the why behind the whole thing. Just came up with Blunt Force Healing. I don't even remember how it came up, but I know that at the time when I started it, I was watching a lot of the crime documentaries, and obviously you can straight away understand why blunt force came into play, because blunt force trauma was very often repeated in those documentaries. When I was thinking about, well, this blog, this project, the whole idea that I'm trying to do it is because I want to heal myself in a certain way or change something drastically that I couldn't for many years. And it was basically the procrastination / acrasia, which is a very similar thing, but they are slightly different definitions. But in general, it was about not being able to establish a habit or routine that is beneficial for me and maintain it for a long time. Because starting it, it's not hard. Starting any routine isn't hard. It's very easy to start something, and it's as easy to drop it pretty fast. And the only things that I was able to maintain for a longer period of time were challenges. So things that were about 30 to 60 days, mainly because their structure and their way that they release dopamine and kind of motivate us or push us to do something, they are effective for a short period of time. But I never had any success to go beyond that with anything that is beneficial for me, because it's very easy to establish the bad habits or things that are not necessarily giving us any benefits, but rather make our lives miserable or unhealthy. I wanted to improve my writing, or at least get used to writing every day. I did a blog for a short while, but it was very chaotic, and it was one article every week, every 2 weeks, every month. You never knew when I was able to sit down and write anything. So I thought about journaling. And obviously, Blunt Force Healing was the name that I decided to just give it and forget about this. Tick the box, and whatever it is, let it be. I don't need to think about the name too much. I can think about, I don't know, rebranding it later if it comes to, a serious thing. And the first thing I thought of was WordPress.com, which is, I'm not affiliated with it. To be honest, I don't think it's the best blogging portal, but it was good enough. I already had an account in it for some reason. I don't even remember why, but I never used it properly. So I thought that I will use that opportunity to not only refresh the login, change the password, and apply some security measures like multi-factor authentication, and start the blog there and just write a couple of lines for the first couple of days and see how it goes. Because the start and keeping your habit or routine is about making it as easy as possible or as smooth as possible. So you remove any friction. So if you want to write the blog post every single day, you don't start with setting yourself a challenge for, writing 500 words or anything like that. Just start small. And I decided to start small, write a couple of words or a couple of sentences, and that's it. That's a blog post. I wrote it, I published it, and it felt good. And I thought to myself that while it's not maybe valuable for anyone, it was meant for me to just start writing. And it didn't matter if there was value or not at the start. I just wanted to establish writing habit every single day. And once I feel like it's just something normal, I'll start focusing more about what I write about. And when I published it, the window popped up from portal called Anchor FM or something like that. Anchor basically was a platform, a podcasting platform that was associated or kind of integrated with WordPress. And I got the signing up window for a podcast. The immediate thing was like, I don't have proper gear. I don't know what to talk about. So normally you would probably reject that, but that window was well tailored and it suggested that they can basically transpose what I wrote, that small blog post, into audio for me. So I don't need to record myself. It will be transposed, and that audio version of the blog post will be made into first episode of the podcast. And I thought to myself, wow, it's so easy. Why not? But with a twist. I decided to not allow AI to transpose it to some artificial voice, but I thought to myself, I will just use the standard microphone in the laptop because it allowed me to do it online, and I'll just record it with my own voice. So I started doing audiobook kind of version of my blog. And initially it was probably 200 episodes until I switched to video like this one. So 199 audio episodes happened before it turned into video and audio. So that's pretty much the story behind it. And the rest is history, because along the way, Anchor have been acquired or bought by Spotify. It's now called Spotify for Podcasters. It's a huge platform. It's probably the only podcast platform that allows you to upload unlimited podcast episodes up to 30 minutes. They don't charge you anything. Of course, there's plenty of functionality missing for seasoned podcasters, but for anyone that want to start blogging and podcasting, I would suggest that WordPress and Spotify for podcasters are perfect combination. Especially if you want little to no friction in choosing the platform, learning it, etc. They are fairly easy and don't require any special skills to do your thing. And once you get good in writing and blogging or podcasting, you can always change the platform, or you can start new version or new season of your podcast on any other platform. So I wouldn't worry about it. If you ever thought about it and you don't yet have blog or podcast or both, and you would like to start, I highly encourage you to do so, because it helped me to go through many things and many challenges within myself by pushing through and writing and recording myself against the grain when I was, for example, whole day in Dublin, and I knew that I would be very tight in time to record and write anything. I still pushed myself and never skipped a day. So soon, because it will be 19th of September, roughly, 2024, it will be a big milestone of 2 years of constant and consistent and consecutive writing and blogging or podcasting. So some of you are very long time with me on that journey, and for that I would like to thank you very much, because it's very important to have someone on the other side that supports you, even if it's not necessarily a proactive or very active and dynamic in support. So even if we don't speak to each other, or you don't comment and I don't respond, so there's no direct communication between us, you are there and you visit the blog or podcast and you read or listen or watch those episodes. And it doesn't matter if you do it every day or you do it every second or every third or just randomly. You are there. And just the feeling or that awareness of you being there, it really helps. Because I know that I would probably stop, maybe not stop doing it, or maybe it would be much harder to push through, even though the whole project was made to, to establish something and make me do something regardless if I have audience or not. But having audience is, I'd say, at least 50% of success. So 50% is probably my work on myself and on pushing it, even if there's no one. Another 50% is the influence of knowing that there is someone reading it, listening, watching it. And I know it's not the sexiest content. It's probably one of the dullest content, because journaling, unless about specific interesting things, it's nothing extraordinary or entertaining. So it is even more special to me to know that you're there. So thank you very much for that. And after this long intro and explanation, I'd like to provide a short update of yesterday. Yesterday was again, just a deployment of sauna in the evening. During the day, I had a lot of work and I am preparing for potential change of role or departure from the current company. So I need to think about handovers. I didn't decide yet, but it's a fairly advanced stage of me being on the fence and deciding on what to do. And that's a different job than our business with the sauna. And, that takes a lot of time and thought. So that was most of my day. And Elizabeth and Julian had their own chores, own activities. And in the evening, we deployed the sauna. It was again very quiet, and we had no bookings in advance. But at the beach, we had a couple of walk-ins. It was better than yesterday. Monday was super quiet. Today was quiet, but it was there was more people and more interests. We at least had some warm leads that potentially will give us bookings tomorrow and in the coming days and weeks. And we had a couple of bookings that went in, or walk-ins that made our day worthwhile in terms of covering or recuperating the overheads and the costs. So that was good. And again, it was a day of a beautiful sunset that we were able to experience. And the weather was nice. So it was a good day, albeit it wasn't super entertaining or anything like that. But one important milestone that I'd like to mention is I finally ordered our beach flag with branding. So it was about 130 euro. It's a test. It's a first flag. It should be about 2 meters high. We'll see how it looks like when it gets delivered. It will probably take about just under 2 weeks before it gets to us. So we'll see how it looks. And if it works well, we might order another one or maybe a bigger one with slightly different design to have 2 of them and use them in different spots to draw attention. I didn't order any banners or any magnetic signs yet. I just want to see what the quality will be of the flag, and we'll go from there and see if we want to order from the same supplier or from someone else. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. Have a great rest of the day, afternoon, evening. Stay tuned and see you again in tomorrow's episode.